You don't need to raise your voice. You don't need to flex your muscles. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. Because when your mind is strong, truly strong, the room feels it before you even speak. A strong mind doesn't chase attention. It commands respect, not through arrogance, but through undeniable presence. You see, most people build bodies. Some build brands. But very few ever build the one thing that changes everything. A mind so solid, so unshakable, so brutally clear, it terrifies mediocrity. Why? Because a strong mind doesn't need agreement. It doesn't crumble under pressure. It doesn't panic when the plan falls apart. It adapts. It recalibrates. It rises. You want to become unstoppable? Then forget impressing others. Forget fitting in. Forget being liked. Build a mind that doesn't flinch. Build a mind that says, this storm, let it come. Build a mind that scares people, not because you're cruel, but because you're clear. Because your silence is louder than their shouting. Because your calm exposes their chaos. Because your presence makes them realize they haven't done the work. And that kind of power, it isn't born. It's forged. Then let's build it. Because a strong mind isn't something you're born with, it's something you train. And the first step? Embrace discomfort like it's your mentor. Most people run from discomfort. They label it as pain. They escape into distraction, into comfort, into anything that numbs the sting. But a strong mind, it runs toward it. Not because it enjoys suffering, but because it understands that discomfort is data. It's proof that you're stretching. It's evidence that you're outgrowing your limits. It's the raw material of transformation. A weak mind says, this is too hard. A strong mind says, this is how I grow. Every challenge becomes training. Every setback becomes feedback. Every no becomes fuel. And when you stop avoiding discomfort, you stop avoiding power. Step 2, ruthlessly control your input. You can't build a strong mind with junk thoughts, just like you can't build a strong body with junk food. If your mind is constantly flooded with gossip, fear, noise, and comparison, how can you expect it to think clearly, create powerfully, or act decisively? A strong mind is a guarded gate. It doesn't let everything in. It filters. It chooses. It protects its peace like a fortress. Because once your attention is hijacked, your clarity is gone. And without clarity, you can't lead. You can't build. You can't stand. Want mental strength? Then master what you watch. Master what you listen to. Master who you allow to speak into your world. You don't have to cut everyone off, but you do have to guard your influence, because your mind becomes what it consumes. Step 3, train your focus like it's your life force, because it is. Distraction is the enemy of power, not because it's loud, but because it's subtle. It doesn't destroy you with force, it erodes you with fragments. One notification at a time, one scroll at a time, one excuse, one delay, one mental tab left open for too long. And before you know it, your mind is no longer yours. But a strong mind, it's not just focused. It's ruthlessly focused. Because here's the truth. Where your focus goes, your life follows. Where your attention flows, your identity forms. And if you don't train your focus, the world will train it for you. You want to scare mediocrity? Then lock in. Set blocks of time where you're unreachable. Cut off digital noise. Silence the world so you can hear yourself think, so you can build the internal stamina to stay locked into a task long after the world would have quit. Because this world doesn't need more people with ideas. It needs people with the concentration to execute them. Focus isn't something you have. It's something you practice. And the more you practice, the less space You give to doubt, to drama, to distraction. And when that becomes who you are, people feel it. They don't understand it, but they respect it. They can't manipulate you. They can't shake you. They can't pull you into every crisis because you're anchored. Step 4, make your word law. If you say you're going to do it, do it. Even if no one sees. Even if no one claps. Even if you're the only one holding yourself to that standard. Why? Because a weak mind negotiates with itself. A strong mind, it executes. It doesn't wait to feel like it. It doesn't beg for motivation. It moves because it said it would. Discipline isn't punishment. It's self-respect. And when your word becomes law, you stop chasing confidence. You become it. You embody it. You no longer need to convince anyone of your strength because your consistency speaks louder than your voice ever could. Then, let's finish what we started. Because building a strong mind doesn't end with discipline. It evolves into something deeper, something rare. Step 5, master your emotions or they will master you. Understand this. Your mind cannot be strong if your emotions control your decisions. And emotional strength is not about being cold, stoic, or distant. It's about ownership. It's being able to feel the fear and still move forward. To feel the pressure and stay calm anyway. To feel the weight of the world and not let it bend you out of shape. A weak mind reacts. A strong mind responds. It sees the storm and chooses how to sail through it, not how to scream at the waves. You want real power? Then don't let anger speak for you. Don't let fear drive your choices. Don't let disappointment shut you down. Train your emotional muscle. Pause. Observe. Breathe before you respond. Own your internal world so deeply that no external event can steal your peace. Because when you master your emotions, you become unshakable. You become the eye of the hurricane. You become the stillness in a world addicted to reaction. And that calm terrifies people because it shows them what's possible when someone actually does the inner work. Step 6, choose solitude over noise. Most people can't sit alone in silence. They need constant stimulation, a screen, a voice, a distraction. Because if they're quiet for too long, they'll hear the truth they've been avoiding. But a strong mind seeks solitude. It chooses stillness, not because it's easy, but because it's where clarity lives. Because silence sharpens vision. Because alone is where you meet your real self. You want to scare the world? Be the one who's comfortable with themselves, who doesn't need a crowd to feel validated, who doesn't need attention to feel alive, who can disappear for a season and come back 10 times sharper. That kind of person, that's who changes rooms. That's who shifts cultures. That's who leads. And finally, step 7, think long, act daily. The strongest minds are vision-driven. They don't need instant results to stay committed. They don't need overnight applause. They plant deeply and build slowly because they're not after a quick win. They're building an empire that lasts. They move with urgency but never panic. They move with pace but never desperation because they know where they're going. And nothing can rush a mind that has already decided its outcome. So build that mind, brick by brick, habit by habit, thought by thought. And one day, you won't need to say a word. You'll walk into a room and your presence alone will say, I am not here to be impressive. I am here because I've built something that cannot be shaken. Not loud, not flashy, just unignorable. That's the kind of mind that scares everyone because it can't be moved. And when you build that, you don't just win. You redefine what power looks like.